Good morning, happy Saturday. Welcome to the new artwork week review, where I do talk about the stuff that I published, what I think about it now that a few days, sometimes even weeks have gone by since I finished the thing. Yeah, there's times between the actual video shoot and work and me publishing it. So I do work ahead, believe it or not. From this tired face, you probably don't believe it. Anyways, this is what happens in this video. Also, I'm announcing any kinds of news that either happen to the oh gosh, tired, first cup of coffee only in my systems, unable to talk. So again, I also announce news for the channel or news for any kinds of stuff on this particular show. And I do have something in the end for you. But first, let's go into the artwork that I published. And as always, let's go with the weekly thingy, like Monday. I published the new art journal, and it was this page here called Community. And in the narrated video, you hear me talk a bit in depth about the background story of that particular page, which is quite abstract, I know. But just to give you a short overview, I participated in the birthday bash of the journal workshop page, and I actually made that particular one on that Saturday that the bash happened, and it's all about the journal workshop community, which surprised me when I joined, surprises me pretty much all the time that I interact on that group, community, forum, whatever you want to call it. And it surprised me once more on a different kind of level the day the birthday bash happened. So it was really, really great, and it inspired me to make a page about a great creative community, and by all those happy colors that you can see here, you can kind of guess what I thought about it, how much I felt comfortable in that community. So this very abstract piece is all about great art or creative communities and how much I appreciate them and how much I really, really like them and enjoy being part of them. So that was what I published Monday, and I still like the abstract go on the page. I sometimes do that in my art journal, but usually you can make out something more, like there's pictures, there's paintings of something, and not just cardboard dots on a colored background representing something, you know? So I really like the abstract go on that page that I took. Meanwhile, it bothers me more with the transparent paper and that you can see through the adhesive. It didn't bug me the day that I produced it, and it didn't bug me the day that I voiced over the video for it. But meanwhile, I think that's one part that I should have not done. Anyways, that it's an art journal. It's what happens that day, and what bugs me and does not bug me goes into the page, you know? So that was Monday. On Tuesday, I really like this one. I also already have to giggle. I'm sorry. I published this particular one here, this very flowery Tiny Tuesday, all only made out of paper. One of the quickest ones ever. Not a lot of artistic skill going into it, because that paper here, the flowers, were actually printed on pattern paper, and I just had to cut them out. But I was in the mood for something fast, something spring, something paper. Not a lot of fuss, not a lot of me painting something. So I was in the mood for that, and that's why it was okay for me to quote unquote cheat and just cut out flowers and make a new flower arrangement on the Tiny Tuesday. With the different kinds of pattern papers and the layers, I think I, well, paid my due and created something, but it feels way more, again, quote unquote, cheaty than any other of the Tiny Tuesdays that I did. But again, not every one of those could be the greatest drawing or painting ever, and I'm okay with it. I think it's sweet. It could be doing quite well on a gift box, or maybe a bigger greeting card or something that would work, and I'm fine with it. The next one, you might want to read the blog for it if you haven't already. It's the one that I published yesterday, The Giant Shell, which is another of my so-called Palettendreck-Bilder, which means that whenever I paint something, at least I cannot measure the amount of paint I need exactly. So there's always some remaining color on the palette, and I don't want to throw it away, so I create something new with it, which means I take an old canvas, one of the blackened ones, one that has been used for whatever kind of trying painting thing, and I just slap the paint on, and at one point I will see something in that painting. It could be a pattern, could be an emotion, could be a feeling, and then I start working on that and make a new painting. That's what a Palettendreck-Bild actually is, because Palettendreck in German is the remains of color mixed and pure on a palette when you paint. So this one here, I have been working on that on and off for around 10 months, believe it or not. And this one gave me so much grief. I was almost at that point where I said, okay, I'm gonna blacken the whole thing again and start over. But that is something that I dislike so much. I don't wanna just give up. I wanna be the winner of the fight. That is the painting, you know? It's kind of weird, and I get it when you say, why did you just not start over? Don't get yourself angry and upset and worked up and whatnot. But that's, when it comes to painting, that's not me. I know, totally crazy. But again, so I worked for about 10 months on that, and the seashell came out first layer. I saw it and I worked with it, and I wanted to keep that part so badly, and I just had trouble with the surroundings. I wanted to have the shell sit in a scene, like, is it on the ocean? Is it real? Is it abstract? Is it a symbol for something? What do I see? So I painted layers and layers of the lower parts and also the sky in the background, hoping that different kinds of colors would trigger something, or maybe just the quote-unquote pattern that the brush strokes made in a certain area that I thought, that's that, and I'm gonna go for it. No. Didn't happen. Didn't happen for so long. And then one day, a few weeks ago, I again had blue and this light ochre as remains on my palette, and I threw it on, and then that thing happened where it's like, buildings. This is a skyline back there. And originally, and unfortunately I lost that footage, so you don't see it in the video. Originally, that ochre color was way more wider and also up to the edge of the canvas. And then with the blues, I just made a bit of heaven, and I see a mayfield or a meadow up here, but my husband sees a beach with the grass that grows on, and I don't know what it's called, that grows on the edges of the beach when it goes into land, you know, these long, skinny kind of grasses. That's what he sees. I don't see that. But again, that's what the purpose of these paintings is. Everybody can interpret whatever they see in it and just go from there. However, I was so happy at that point when I finally saw the skyline in the background. It's like, now I can work with it. This is going to be a surreal kind of a painting, not a realistic one. I could have just made a cropped scene at a beach and have the painting be at an angle where this would be the sand and then you see a bit of foamy water and a lot of sky. I could have done that. That would be more realistic, but this kind of scene here, not so much. And I was so glad when finally I was at that point. It's like, oh, it's like you're relieved. The tension goes away when you're at that point that you feel progress in a painting. So that was so lovely when that point came that I actually saw something. So the last step was to draw in a few of the details with black and white permanent marker, as I always do with these kinds of paintings, just giving it a bit of light and shadow, a bit of definition, maybe some details. Like, to me, this is a museum of a giant shell that somehow landed on that meadow in I don't know what kind of city, any kind of a city that has grass, a meadow. And people made a museum out of it, and you have this row here where you stand in line and wait for the entrance, blah blah blah. So this is what I see, and this is kind of the surreal, goofy kind of thing that, imagine there would be such a giant shell that you could turn it into a museum and people could see whatever in there, whatever kind of exhibition. So it would be huge if you think you as a person of, I don't know how high, maybe like the average 1 meter 70 something, and then you have a lot of space between you and that part here. So it must be, like I said, a giant shell, right? Imagine that would happen. That would be cool. But yeah, that's what my mind sometimes sees, all the weird, surreal, goofy kind of things, you know? So I was very happy when that canvas finally was finished, that painting was finished, and I can put it from my unfinished project shelf to another section in my studio. So happy. You can't imagine how much. So that was the last one. So I did a few more things that I don't have videos for yet. They're coming probably next week, and I did things that I'm not gonna publish with a video because I didn't shoot a video of it. I do way more artwork and crafts than I actually publish. But you can see them now because I got this new gadget here since the old one, well, I did have the iPad too, and the camera was not really great, so I didn't bother making an Instagram account because I hate putting out shitty stuff, like photos, totally grizzly and no. So I waited for the point that I got a new iPad that has a good camera, and now it's okay to actually publish a few of the works in progress, and that is pretty much what you will see on my Instagram account, work in progress or work that is finished that I'm not gonna publish otherwise. And as always, the links are in the description below, so if you're curious on what else I did, like for example, lots and lots of origami this week that I did, either for myself or for customers. You can see that with photos on my Instagram account, which is again linked below, but it's, as always, Pinselgeschichten. That's my tag, and why not visit over there? Because, yeah, more art stuff, more craft stuff. If you're curious, why not? I think, well, the Google account I already said. I'm so sorry for being so goofy. Oh gosh. The Google account, my Google Plus page, I already mentioned in the last Talk O'Clock on Thursday, but in case you haven't seen it yet, I decided to, well, update my Google Plus page whenever I publish any other social media whenever I update any other social media sites, like for example Facebook, that would be the next biggest one, because I do have trouble, just like any other business page, of actually getting my posts to you on Facebook, so a lot of people miss something, and if you want to, I want to make sure that you can see something when it's updated, because, yeah, reasons. So I decided to update my Google Plus page frequently. So if you prefer Google Plus pages to Facebook, then just go to my page. It's also Pinselgeschichten, just like all of the social media other than my Twitter. So you can see anything and everything there, actually, as soon as it is uploaded. You can see it there, and yeah, getting around the Facebook hassle a bit. So that's all that I did. That happened this week. It was a crazy week again. Quite busy, and I'd say very productive. Very. There wasn't any of these moments where you're upset with yourself because something doesn't work. That's happened, by the way, more last week. But this week it was very smooth when it came to actually doing artwork. But then again, I didn't try out a lot of new techniques or things that I haven't done in forever, or not at all so far. So I sailed on the safest paths this week, just to make sure that everything would turn out first go, and not having to do things all over again, because time was not, I didn't have time in abundance. Like, I had to make sure that I produced something and really got something out of it once I started doing artwork every day. So there were not a lot of spare times. Anyways, I think that's that. Enough of the ramble, right? Next week's Thursday, by the way, will be the last week of the looking at materials I use. And then I do have a new kind of Thursday video for the Talk O'Clock. It's still Talk O'Clock, but it's actually going to be producing artwork. You can see, or I will capture that part of doing artwork where I sketch out the ideas, not as you usually see the part once I have that idea. I'm gonna go in with a talker clock before something is actually put to paper, canvas, whatever. So that will be interesting doing that live, or live in like capturing it. That's a real challenge, but I'm gonna go for it. I decided I'm gonna challenge myself that way. So I hope you have a very, very good weekend and enjoy whatever you're doing. Maybe you got a bit of time to create something, painting or crafting or knitting, crocheting, maybe. That would be cool, right? So thank you very much for watching. I would appreciate a lot if you liked and or shared this video with other people that you think should see that. And if you haven't already, why not subscribe to the channel? I got lots of art videos and cooking videos and board game videos for you every day of the week, so I keep you entertained. And thanks again for enduring this weird ramble. I will see you tomorrow with the Gamers Couch for the board games, and on Monday again with new artwork. Take good care and goodbye!